Hi, my dear lovely students. How are you? Welcome to the session. So, in this class, we are going to learn about homonyms. Homo means same and nyms means name. So, these are similar sounding words and they play a very important role in cracking vocab based questions. So, as you can see, the statement in the slide itself helps you understand that it's going to be a very interesting session and we are going to learn a lot of new words. So let's get started. By the time all got ready, the function had started already, right? So let's get ready and let's begin this beautiful journey of learning and exploring new words. So let's get started. The first set. So we are going to pick some sets. Like I said, these are words which are similar sounding. So at times might create confusion and you might get confused between the words. So that we wouldn't want. So how are we going to, do the right trick so that we are able to retain the words? We are going to make some sentences. We are going to solve some questions in between. So always be ready. You can see a question coming anytime and you have to solve it, right? So let's see. The first word that you can see on the screen is ambiguous. Ambiguous. Okay, so you pronounce it ambiguous. Ambi means do. So having more than one meaning, right? Open to different interpretations. If you have heard of it, we have done a very interesting concept in grammar. Or if you have still not done, then you will see one of the videos based on the concept of pronoun ambiguity. Ambiguity is confusion, something which is unclear, or there are multiple interpretations possible. Let me demonstrate one example to you so that you get better understanding. Take a look at this particular sentence. So I'll write the sentence for you. The sentence is Seema gave Reena her perfume. Okay, so this is a simple sentence that I'm making. Now if you're going to see, there is this pronoun her, so we don't know whether this pronoun her is referring to Reena or Seema. Did give Seema her own perfume to Reena, or it was Reena's perfume, right? So her is not able to give this clarity, or since the sentence is open to different interpretations, hence we say that there is pronoun ambiguity in it, right? So I hope with this example you are going to, retain this term ambiguous for a longer period of time. And how interesting English is that we were trying to learn an interesting vocabulary word, and we have also learned a very interesting grammatical concept, right? Isn't it so much fun? So I hope you are clear with the meaning of the word ambiguous. Let's move to the next word, which is ambivalent. So ambiguous is which is having different interpretations. Ambivalent is when we have mixed feelings. Like if I would want to give you a sentence that there is this friend of mine, Natasha, and she's gotten opportunity where she can move to USA and kickstart her career as as a training head, right? But she's really excited about the opportunity, but she's got a family here, so she's having ambivalent emotions, right? So she's having mixed feelings. So she would want to go there, she would want to give her career another height, but here she would not want to leave her husband and her children. So her emotion would be ambivalent, right? She's having mixed feelings. She wants to go, but she cannot go, or if she goes then she would feel bad about her family. So that's how we mean this word ambivalent, right? So every time when we are learning new words, it is very important that we do a lot of discussion around that particular word, right? If we are not going to do the discussion, then we are not going to retain it for a longer period of time. It would be like this, that you have learned, you feel happy about it, and then you're not using it in the sentence, or you're not revising it, or you're not doing enough discussion, you'll forget, right? Just only cramming never helps in vocabulary building. We should try to develop some mnemonics, some memory tools, or we should create flashcards. We should innovate, and we should find out what works well for us, which helps to retain the words for a longer period of time, right? So quickly revise these words and make a few sentences in your mind so that you are sorted, and then we are going to move to the next set. Everybody please do that. Right, so I hope you are comfortable. Let's move to the second set. So we have learned two words so far. Now we are going to learn two more words, right, in our second set. These words are very similar sounding, right? That's the reason confusion happens. So I always insist that, keep on revising these words, regular words which are not confusing, which are not similar sounding, might not create a lot of confusion, but such words will definitely create confusion, and that we wouldn't want for ourselves, right? So take a look, abjure and adjure. So adjure means to request earnestly. I adjure my students to work hard to build vocabulary, right? So that's a sincere, earnest. Earnest means with the bottom of your heart, with utmost sincerity. So when I talk about this term earnest, this means utmost sincerity, right? So you're being absolutely sincere and you are requesting. It's my earnest appeal that you should put sufficient time for vocabulary building, right? So adjure means to request earnestly. I adjure my students to work hard, right? Now come to the next word, which is abjure. So adjure and abjure. Abjure means to renounce, right? So Siddharth abjured the throne to attain Buddhahood, right? You Siddharth Gautam Buddha, right? So he abjured, touch dena, tyag dena, to leave, to renounce, to disown, right? So I hope you're clear. So we have made two sentences for you. I adjure you to work hard, or I adjured my friend to stop smoking. Siddharth abjured the throne in order to attain Buddhahood, right? So I hope you're clear with the usage. Quickly make some sentences so that you are able to absorb both the words, and then we are going to proceed further. And don't forget, please note down the words because you'll be getting questions in between that you have to solve. So if you don't know the meanings, it would be difficult, right? Great. So let's further proceed. This is very, very important, my dear students. So wherever you are penning down, right, very, very important. If homonyms are coming, no matter whatever be the question paper, be it IP-MAT exam, be it SSC, be it PO, be it SNAP, any exam which is having homonyms being tested, this is going to appear, right? So there is no second thought. This is a certain question. So you can mark my words, you can write it down if you want. I can sign somewhere that if you are going to write some exams, you are definitely going to encounter this question. There's no second thought about it. So I'm already putting a lot of emphasis. Please note it down. There is certainty to get this question in the exam, right? So if we take a look at this word affect, affect with the A, right? So we are having the word starting with A. This means to influence. The poison affected the hero, right? Are you able to see the poison affected? So how are we using it? We are using it as a verb. What is a verb? An action word, right? So action word means that there's an impact created. So the poison affected. Are you able to see the verb in this case? Right? So to influence. Now, when we talk about effect, affect and effect, right? Effect with an E means a result, an output. The effect of the nail was notorious. The lightning effects were amazing, right? So I hope we are clear with both the usages. So affect is a verb and effect is a noun. Affect means to influence. Effect is an outcome or a result, right? So I hope you're clear. Please pen it down, write some sentences, do some scratch paper work, mark it important. There is a great possibility, rather I should say there is a certainty that you're going to get this set, right? So I hope you're clear. Many a times, students get this question and then they thank me that ma'am, thank you so much for pointing it out. So I'm again emphasizing it's very important, high possibility of appearing in the exam. So please do retain this and definitely revise it, right? So let's further proceed. The next set is allusion versus illusion. So allusion is an indirect reference. So this particular word allusion is when you are not referring to somebody directly, but you are indirectly pointing out, right? So that's allusion. And come to the next word, illusion. So a false perception of reality or a dream, right? So somebody gets an illusion. So you have an illusion that you are to somebody, if you want, if a friend of yours is not studying hard, but he feels that he's putting sufficient efforts, or he doesn't need that much of an effort, so you can tell him or her that, my dear friend, you have got an illusion that you are smart while you need to work hard, right? So that's how we use it, that you are having a false perception or an idea of reality, however things are different, right? So it's a dream sort of a thing. I had an illusion of somebody being there. So there was nobody there, but I felt like that there is a person standing right near the pole, right? And allusion is an indirect reference. So it's basically a literary device. So yeah, in English there is a literary device. You understand what are literary devices? So uh, like we have alankar in Hindi, right? Similarly, we have literary devices in English also, right? So repetition, uh, that famous thing, we used to use those tongue twisters, she sells seashells on the seashore, right? So that's also a sort of literary device, right? So allusion is also a literary device where we give an indirect reference, right? So I hope we are clear with this set, allusion and illusion, everybody. So it's time to move to the next set. So next set is amiable versus amicable. So amiable and amicable, slight difference, right? So many a time students do get confused. At times these words are also used in synonym terms, but there is the difference. And when there is a specific question where you have to choose between amiable and amicable, you need to know the difference. You can't do without it. So amiable is a person who shows good natured qualities, who's affable, right? So amiable, amicable, affable, right? These words are similar in meaning. So a person who's very friendly, you can associate it with this word amity. So AMI, amity, right? So amity stands for friendship. There is another word that we have learned, right? And amicable is peaceful, a person who's agreeable, who's harmonious, right? So there is this amicable neighbor of ours who gave up on the gave up on the fight because he wanted to show how amiable he is, right? So that's how you can use this in a sentence. Now there's a quick check for you. So there is one question that you can quickly solve. The options are there in front of you, so you need to decide that which would be the correct answer choice that you're going to pick. I'm going to give you quick 1 minute. We have just learned the word, so it should be very easy for you to solve. Try this. This is very simple to the similar to the example we were just trying to understand, right? Due to the dash nature of ward members in the society, we could come to a dash settlement of the dispute that had taken place. So this is a sentence completion question, right? So this is a typical sentence completion question, or you might also in the simple language say that fill in the blanks. So how do we solve such questions? Let's quickly try and understand that there is a particular strategy to approach the question. So the first thing is that you start with an easy blank, right? So you start with an easy blank. So that doesn't always imply that the first blank is going to be easy or second difficult or vice versa. You read the sentence, whichever portion clicks well with you. So try and understand that what is the discussion about, right? What is the discussion that is happening? So what is the discussion about? Then if possible, look for a transition word. So what are transition words? Words like yet, nonetheless, in spite, despite. So this is a very interesting portion, and I really emphasized on observing transition words carefully. So you have positive transition words, you have negative transition words. Like if I give you an example to make you understand that how transitions work, so we'll be able to get it better by taking a look at these sentences. So I say, I really like you, and I ask you to complete this sentence. Then I come to the second part, I really like you, but, and I say complete this. Now, if you take a look at the first sentence, I really like you, and, so whatever idea you are inserting is a positive one, right? I really like you, and let's go out for a movie. I really like you, and let's study together. I really like you, and let's be friends. So any idea that you're inserting in the first part is a positive one, right? Come to the second statement, I really like you, but, so if you try to complete it, I really like you, but we cannot be good friends, but we can't study together, but I don't really want to go out with you. So, any idea that you're putting here is a negative one. If you take a look at the sentences, still here, both the sentences are identical. Still, the flow is variant. Why? Because of these words and but. And this is exactly the role of transition words, right? They help you understand that how the discussion is going to flow. So whenever we are doing sentence completion questions, it should be our our concern to observe the transition words carefully. And these words are very clear, there's no rocket science, there's nothing that you need to cram, you just need to know the words like and, furthermore, moreover, in order to, right? All these are taking the discussion forward. Yet, but, nonetheless, nevertheless, in spite, despite, all these words are taking the discussion in the negative direction, right? So these are positive transition words and negative transition words that help us understand that how the flow is going to take place in the sentence. There can be some instances where transition words might not be present, which is perfectly fine. If you're not able to see the transition words, then you can bypass step 3, right? In that case, what we can do is we can bypass this step. So once you have observed transition words, always try to predict the answer, right? If we have an answer in our mind, then reaching to the correct option or the answer choice really becomes easy. And how do we predict the answer? Keep the word choice to be simple, right? This is the step that you're doing for your own convenience, so there is no need that you predict some very difficult words or words which are not used in day-to-day discussions. If possible, recycle, that means reuse the word which is there in the discussion itself, right? And the last step would be that try to do process of elimination. What do we mean by process of elimination? Keep on eliminating the incorrect answer choices. Whatever remains shall serve as the right answer. So it's a very interesting approach, and let's see how do we apply this approach to question solving, right? Due to the dash nature of new ward members in the society, we could come to an dash settlement of the dispute that has taken place, right? So, are we able to understand the discussion is going in the same direction, right? So, for me, we could come to a dash sort of a settlement. So, there's a settlement that's happening. So, I am able to understand that the settlement is something which is harmonious, right? So my predicted word would be harmonious, right? So I see what are the words that can take us to harmonious, right? So amiable is a person who can adjust, so this goes out. Now we have amiable or amicable, right? So here if we take a look at the answer choices, we just learned that amicable means harmonious, right? So in that case, amiable can be eliminated. Amiable meant friendly. So, what was the nature of the ward members if there was a dispute that settled peacefully? So, the nature would have been friendly, right? So, here we want a word which is synonymous to friendly. So, we have these two answer choices, and we just learned that amiable is friendly, right? I gave you this example of amity. So, C would be the answer choice, right? So, just to revise, friendly means amiable, and if we talk about harmonious, then that is amicable, right? So I hope we are clear with the usage, everybody. We are sorted with this particular example, right? So it's time to further move on and see this question. Oh, we have just learned this also. So in the discussion, I hope you have not forgotten. Quickly try this question and now you know the approach also. So it would be easy to solve. Attempted, everybody? Good time to begin the discussion. So let's see. I dash you to dash your bad habits. So what would I do? Um, if you try, I request you to leave your bad habits, right? So we take a look at abhor is hatred. So there's another word that has come, which you should know the meaning, which means hatred, right? So we can start with the first blank, right? So adjure is to leave and abjure is to request, right? So hatred, so this goes out because here we would want leave and b also goes out. So now you have just two answer choices, abjure and adjure. So we know adjure means to leave and abjure means to request. So are you able to see how close the answer choices are? So if you would not know the meaning, you would be really in a troubled situation. So always be very clear. Abjure is basically to request and adjure is to leave. Let's further proceed and try this question, everybody. Try this. We have just learned this set also, so that in a way we are revising also, we are solving questions also. You would come to know that what sort of questions you can expect, and you can see how close the answer choices are going to be. So you have to be really really prepared, otherwise you're going to be in a difficult situation, right? Great, so let's quickly attempt this. The applicant, so applicant is a person who gives the application, right? Character sounded a bit dash. So, hence, the manager was dash about offering a job letter. So, the character or the personality was sounding a bit. So, if the personality, hence, so what would be the feelings if you're doubting somebody, right? So, the first part of the sentence gives this emotion that there is a doubt. So, he is not having clarity about offering a job letter, right? He's not certain about offering a job letter, right? So sounded a bit ambiguous, right? That's we have open to multiple interpretations, right? So if a person is open to multiple interpretations, you might sound that person dubious or doubtful. So let's first sort out this black and see, are we able to do some elimination based on this? So ambiguous would be the choice that will fit in. Ambivalent is having mixed feelings, right? So we have both these options remaining. Oh, there is this another word, ambidextrous. So dexterity means skill, and ambidextrous means a person who can use both the hands effectively. You remember that person Virus from Three Idiots, the character played by Baman Irani? So that professor used to write with both the hands. So that's precisely what you mean by ambidextrous. So that also goes out. Anyways, we had eliminated it before. So what were the feelings? There were ambivalent feelings, right? So in this case, oh yeah, sorry, we would keep this. Ambiguous we are going to keep, and ambivalent, so this we are going to keep. So what would be the correct answer? A. So the state of doubt means ambiguous. So there's just one option. So if you know the meaning of the word, you can decode it from here itself. And if you would want to look at this entire sentence, then by picking ambivalent, you can pick this answer choice. Right. So I hope we are clear, everybody. Good time to proceed further. Okay, wow. We have some effects here. Right, so we have some effects, and the question is on effects and effects. So please try this and let me know what would be the correct answer. Okay, so let's start. The poison dashed the prisoner, and the dash of poison was life taking. So here we would need a verb. So at times, even this sort of a clarity can help you reach to the right answer. So we remember discreetly that A stands, the word which starts with A, affect. This is a verb, right? So we would want a verb. So that means these two answer choices get eliminated now. And the dash of poison was life taking. Apathy. So this is with two words. A is without, right? And pathos stands for emotions, right? So apathy means without emotions, or indifferent, right? So this would not be the right word here. So the impact of poison was life taking, so effect would fit in here, right? So the correct answer choice is going to be A in this case, right? So affected was correct in both the answer choices, but effect would be the right word since we already know the meaning of the word apathy. Anyways, there's four associated words when we talk about apathy, and since it's a vocabulary class also, I would just like to tell you apathy we have already learned. Then there is empathy, then there is sympathy, and there is antipathy. So antipathy is hatred, right? A feeling of hatred for somebody. Apathy is indifference, right? So it doesn't affect you. Sympathy, you already know. Empathy is placing yourself in other person's shoes and understanding his or her problems, right? So I'll just give you a simple example. Say a friend of yours gets a back, and you say, why are you telling me I've got a back? What do I do about it, right? So this is where you are showing apathy. That means indifference. You are not being affected, right? Affected. Oh wow, we are using the word right here. Then the second would be that if your friend gets a bag and you tell him, no problem, next time the professor is going to pass you, don't worry, it is fine, work hard and you'll be able to clear it in the next attempt. So in this case you're giving sympathy, right? And antipathy, this is a hypothetical situation. Okay, I didn't write antipathy. Yeah, antipathy is hatred, right? Anti is against. See, this is simple. Anti corruption, you must have heard of this. So anti is against. So you say that तू मेरा दोस्त नहीं है तेरे back आएगा, तो ऐसा हम करते नहीं है. So this is antipathy. And if you have also got the back, you understand what the poor fellow is feeling. So that is where we talk about empathy, right? So wow, we have learned so many words in this question, right? Good time to go ahead. I hope you are clear. Very frequently tested question. Affect, AFFECT. This is a verb. And effect, EFFECT, is a noun, right? So this is another way to remember this. And let's further proceed. Oh, this is a prep check. So what is a prep check? In between I'll give you some questions to help you understand that how much of effort you would need as far as your vocabulary building is concerned and comprehension skills are concerned. So quickly solve this question and then we are going to move to the next set. Everybody please do that. Okay, so I hope you have tried this question. So let's take a look. The child was so spoiled by her indulgent parents that she pouted and became dash when she did not receive their attention. So who are we talking about? Child. Now, what is the additional information you're that getting? That she was so spoiled. Are you able to see by her indulgent parents? Indulgent parents means parents who agree to the wishes of their children, right? That she pouted. Pouted is making a face, right? It's not that pout that you do while you go for selfies, right? And if she's not receiving the attention and she is spoiled, so she would be angry, right? So she became angry, she became sad, or she became irritated, right? So like I say, you should always have a predicted word. So irritated would be the word, right? So discreet is when you're able to discern between right and wrong. So this goes out. Suspicious to kyun hogi? Suspicious is when you have a doubt, right? So this goes out. Elated is being happy. So elated, why would she be elated? She is not getting the attention. So sullen, sullen means sad, sullen means irritated, right? So what would be the correct answer? C in this case, right? So I hope you are clear with the question, everybody. And please see that you should know the meaning of the words. Vocabulary is a continuous process. You need to put effort on regular basis. Don't feel like that I will spend my last 10 days building vocabulary. Cramming would not help. You have to innovate, you have to discuss, you have to discover what works well for you, right? So please do give it a thought, and let's come to the next set. So we have learned 10 words, and we have covered 5 sets, and we have solved also a lot many questions. So I hope you are comfortable. Adjure, abjure, affect, effect, ambivalent, ambidextrous, right? So these to name a few. So it's very important that you keep on revising so that there is no confusion, right? So let's come to set 6, ascent and ascent. Ascent is climbing. Okay, it's an upward movement. So I'm sure you must have encountered this term in physics. So that's if a person is there and this way the person is climbing. So I know it's a bad drawing, but just if you can create some picture in your mind, right? So you're moving to an higher altitude, to a higher altitude. That's what we mean by ascent, right? So these mountaineers ascent, right? They climb the peaks. When we so there's a sentence also. Wow, the fighter plane's ascent made my ears pop. So when the plane goes up, then at times there is a deafening sound. So that's what we deafening means. It's a very loud sound which impacts your ear. So my ears pop, that means I got troubled, right? That sound was irritating. Now come to the second word, assent, the expression of approval or agreement, right? So there's an assent form. At times, what happens is that if somebody has to take an approval, so you would sign on the paper, and that form is called assent form, which shows your agreement, right? So I hope you are clear with both the words, right? Time to further proceed. Capital and capital. So capital, a seat of government, right? So also financial resources. The capital of Virginia is Richmond. Or at times it means financial resources also. The firm had enough capital to build the new plant, right? So you would need capital for your startup. Or Delhi is the capital of India, right? With the two usages of the word capital, I hope you are clear. Now, this capital with O, this is the actual building in which the legislative meetings take place. Okay, so capital would be a place and capitol would be a building, right? So capitol will be in a capital, right? So that's how you can remember. The governor announced his resignation in a speech given at the Capitol. So Capitol with O, you usually some people also call it capital itself, but with O is which is a building in which legislative body meets, right? So I hope you're clear with both the meanings. Capital, I'm sure everybody knows, so it's just one word that you need to remember, right? Let's further proceed. Conscious versus conscious. Conscience is sense of right and wrong, आपकी अंतरात्मा की आवाज. So students conscious kept him from cheating on the exam. So the student was not interested because his, his soul or his conscience could not permit. Okay, conscience, conscience नहीं होता, conscience. Okay, and conscious is aware. I was conscious when the burglar entered the house, means I knew, right? I was awake. So bugler is a thief. That's another name for bugler, which is a thief, right? So bugler is a thief, right? I hope you're clear with both the meanings, everybody. So let's further see censure versus censor. So censure means strong disapproval, right? The manager censured his employees for coming late every day. So scolding, showing strong disapproval, right? Disparaging, belittling, annoying, right? Admonishing. And censor, to suppress unacceptable parts. So you must have seen the censor board did not allow this movie to be released, so it's banning certain parts which are considered not good or not accepted by the society. The censored version of the film was released in India to suit the audience. So if there was something which was not acceptable, that part was eliminated, that part was stopped, that part was suppressed, and then the movie was released, right? So I hope you're clear with both the words, right? Good time to proceed. Now, set 10, we have complacent versus complacent. Again, almost similar sounding. So, complacent is when you're self satisfied. So, the person has become complacent and doesn't want to do anything else in life. So, complacent, at times there are people who have got a job. No offenses, but there are some people who would definitely, get settled in one organization and are happy with the way the promotions are happening or happy with the way the increments are happening. They're in their own comfort space and they would not want to shift and do some drastic changes in their career. So that's the reason people say don't be complacent, right? Work hard, right? So that's what we mean by the first word. Complacent means which willing to please, obliging or gracious, right? Simple, isn't it? So let's further proceed. Oh, it's time for a quick check, so please try this and then we are going to discuss. Great. So let's begin. The teacher dashed the telecast of the movie Boxing Bad on national television because it was not. So teacher criticized, right? So teacher was angry. So she criticized, right? Because it was not censored properly, right? So we know. So for the last blank, we know censored, and this is an easy one because it was just one answer choice. So we know censured is to criticize severely, right? So this goes out, and censored should come later. So B is the right answer, and fervent is when you are really enthusiastic, right? So that's what the word fervent means. So let's further proceed. I hope everybody is sorted with the question. Let's see the next one. A famous philosopher has said that one must be dash of your dash, else move into a state of unconsciousness. Wow, this looks philosophical. So do try this question for a while and then we are going to discuss. So let's begin. A famous philosopher has said that one must be dash of your dash, will else life will move into a state of unconsciousness. So I can start with one blank. So philosopher would say that one must know, one must be aware. So if you are able to decode this, I think aware is one word that we can easily reach at. So we will do one round of elimination. Aware we can keep, right? And conscious is aware or awake. So conscience can go, right? So we conscious again we can keep. So one must be aware of the inner voice, antaratma, right? So conscience is what we would want, right? Because see here, consciousness will fit in, right? So conscience, so conscious, so this will go out, right? So conscience is here, right? Gloom is sadness, right? So when you talk about the word gloom, it's being in a sad state. And conception is when you are it comes from the word when you are bringing something to life. So one must be aware of one's inner voice, otherwise you would be, your life would be unconscious. That means something which is happening and you're not sure of it. Wow, that's a deep deep thought, right? So the correct answer is going to be A in this case. I hope we are sorted here. Time to further proceed and try this question. Please try this and then we are going to discuss. At the dash, the government announced the amount of dash employed in the upcoming projects. So the amount of, I think this is clear, the amount of capital, right? So this is easy to uh, pick up. So consonant, vowels and consonant, unnecessary, a confusing choice, right? So this capital can also go. So now we have capital and capital. So this can be at the capital, the building, right? So where the legislative meetings take place. So the correct answer is going to be A, right? So let's further proceed. Oh, it's time for a prep check. So let's quickly solve this question. Yeah, please try this. The reasoning in this editorial is so dashed that we can't see how anyone can be deceived by it, right? So this is so, deceived is cheated, राइट सो इट्स वेरी क्लियर राइट सो कि हमें समझ ही नहीं आ रहा कि कैसे इससे कोई चीट हो सकता है राइट सो दैट्स हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू गो विद दिस वर्ड कोजेंट व्हिच मींस क्लियर right? I hope you're clear with this everybody. So let's further proceed and learn some more sets. So this is discrete versus discrete. So when we talk about DISCREET, so this means careful not to attract attention or give offense, and discrete means separate or distinct, right? So I could discreetly remember the details, and you know, uh, discretion is separation, right? You could discrete between right and wrong. So that's how you can pick the words, right? Let's further see flaunt versus flout. So flaunting means to display ostentatiously. That means you are, being too flamboyant. So there's this another beautiful word that you can learn, flamboyant. So flamboyant means can you imagine this Hardik Pandya in front of you, right, wearing those gold chains and expensive watches and Fendi dresses, or very, very, ostentatiously. That means a person who's doing excessive display of wealth or is being too fancy. When we were kids, we usually, our teachers used to give this example of Yuvraj Singh, but that was during our times. Our times means, maybe somewhere in 2000, early 2000. This point of time I can think of Hardik Pandya being appropriate for the description. So that's where, you have wealth and you're displaying it and you are purposely doing it, right? You want to show off. So that's what we mean by the word flaunt. So somebody is carrying a high design purse, just to tell everybody that I've got a purse of this, right? But let me tell you, people who are super super rich and who have got this, you know this great elegance they would never display, right? So come to the next word, which is flout. Flout is, you are openly disregarding a rule, you are not accepting it, you are bypassing the rule, you're rejecting the rule without giving a thought, right? So the rules were flouted. So the person who doesn't stop when there is a red light, so he's flouting the traffic rule, right? He's disregarding the traffic rule, he's not accepting it, is not abiding, negatively used, right? So I hope we are clear with this particular set, everybody, the word. So let's come to this word loath versus loath. Where is again this just a difference with this letter e in both the spellings. So loath is reluctant, unwilling, right? And loath is dislike greatly. So it's an extreme word. I loathe him. Somebody loathes somebody. So there's a great displeasure, right? A disliking. It's not just mild disliking, you're not liking it to absolutely another level, right? So that's how we use the word loath, right? And the word without e would be reluctant, you're not interested, you're unwilling, right? So let's further see ingenious versus ingenious. You can please mark it again, there's a high possibility that you can get this question, so wherever you are making notes, right? Very, very important. You remember affect and effect, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm just, after you to retain this because there's a high possibility. So this is a verb and this is a noun. So, right, please don't forget this and please don't forget these two also. See, the spelling is also just slightly varying, right? If you can just see. So with I, this means creatively intelligent. So if you have I in it, maybe this is one way. I am intelligent. That's how you can retain. And you, so with you, it is candid or open. So there is no restraint. There is no limiting thing, right? And you're free from reserve. आप आपको जो समझ में आता है बोलते हैं, आपको कोई inhibition नहीं है. ये भी एक word है. Inhibition, that means there's nothing that stops you, right? So there is no inhibition, there's nothing that stops you. So that's where we would use this word with you. So ingenious, candid, and ingenious, I is creatively intelligent when you are inventive. So I intelligent, you candid, that's how you can retain, right? So let's come to the next set, which is illicit versus illicit, right? So illicit is to draw or bring out. The teacher elicited the correct response from the student. That means the correct response was drawn, was fetched, was asked, right? So maybe you can also write it. The teacher asked, right? So you can just remember it like this, asked. And illicit is something which is illegal, that should not be done. So the lord was arrested for his illicit activities. So your retention would really become better if you are regularly making sentences, solving questions. So let's quickly solve this question. Time for a quick check, so please do that. Try this question and then we are going to discuss. The infamous music composer dashed the media that song was his dash work, as if the world around is deaf, right? So the infamous music composer openly told that the song was his creative work, right? So creative is like I told you, I will be creative. So we can keep this, right? I is also here. Now ingeniously, that means openly. So C is going to be the correct answer, right? So I hope you really enjoyed this session. So keep working hard and revise these words so that these stay with you. Please take good care of yourself and don't forget consistency is the key.